And
So
here
race again.
it is, and here we are for the Canadian Grand Prix, the actual race, a wet race again. I cannot speak today, bloody hell. Bradley goes down to a P7 due to a 5-place grid penalty. No one else gets affected through their penalties, obviously. Peter got one, and Jamie got one, but due to having the gap they needed, they do not go down anywhere. But Callum takes P2 here. That would be good for Callum.
Yeah. Based on his strong start he had in France, you wouldn't rule it past him to get a good, strong start here.
You wouldn't at all, would you? Honestly, I genuinely think that Callum could have a brilliant start and get ahead of Charlie if he plays his cards right. I mean, I think they're all on intermediate, so there's no real advantage here. It's just down to driver skill, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and in the group chat, people are saying that it's going to be turning to a drier race towards the end. So we could have an interesting end here. And George and Jamie have collided. They're both gone sent to the starting grid. That means they both have cold tyres to start with.
Yeah,
they're both been disqualified. That means those tyres are going to be stone cold when they start.
A very unlucky time for George and Jamie for sure. I have spoken to him, and apparently he had to retire due to his wrist absolutely killing. It turns out it's his finger injured, but it's also his wrist. So a very unlucky time for him today. But as you say, George and Jamie, a very unlucky time due to the cold tyres they're now going to have to play with and potentially, hopefully, get a good start. But who knows? But, people, as we now approach time for lights out, the drivers are coming back onto the grid. I see Callum, I see Jamie and Costas now have both, unfortunately, DNF for formation. I keep forgetting what I'm going to say now. Honestly, it's so bad today.
Costas and Callum both didn't line up properly, disqualified, along with Peter as well.
Thank you very much, appreciate it. But all the drivers are now lined back up. I believe Nicholas Latifi being the last one due to Owen again being disqualified. That's the word I was looking for. And it's 3, 4, 5 red lights. And people, it is lights out. And away we go for the Canadian Grand Prix. Who's going to get the better star? Callum seems to be getting the better star, but so does George here. But Callum has pressed on into the lead. A battle now commencing between Callum and George, but Callum has pushed through into P1. But George is trying to go round the outside to get that back. But Jamie spun out here.
Oh, and there's a collision there as well.
Not a good start for Jamie at all. Sent straight down to P18. Did anyone else get affected?
Not too sure, but I think some of his wing got clipped, so maybe someone else got a bit of damage going on.
A very unlucky time for Jamie and potentially whoever else was involved. But now Bradley is ahead of Costas. Nicely done on the outside of Costas there. But now Callum's still up in front here.
What a start from Callum. That was immense. He managed to get past Charlie on the start, even though I'd probably say Charlie had a bit of a better start than him. Managed to stick it out, and with George's excellent start, he managed to just get around and, what an overtake he had.
Very true, and it is showing that Callum is not someone to take lightly. He is here, and I almost just slipped out there by George. His rear actually went on that corner, and due to that, Callum is pulling away.
Yeah, you can tell he's really putting his foot down there. Slightly too early in the wet conditions, just almost slipped out, but caught it nicely, and yeah, you can tell he's really hunting down Callum here.
Very true. Now, Jamie has gone into the pits to get his wing repaired. That will send him down a bit. Hopefully, he'll get back up when the others pit, but who knows? Now, Bradley, again, as we said, ahead of Costas. Peter, all the way down in P13 now. He didn't have a good start. Do you think he was involved in the collision?
Possibly, yeah. We did see struggle a little bit in the rain, so maybe he's just struggling. But yeah, someone definitely did collide with Jamie after he spun, because Jamie did damage his wing.
We'll have to see what happens. Probably just an AI or something. We know what the AIs are like. But Peter pulls in front of Alex Albon on the outside. A nice overtake for Peter. Falls short up to P12. Working his way back up to the points here. But Callum is still able to keep George at bay. George catching up bit by bit, but not quick enough.
Yeah, the front two runners seem to be pulling away from the rest of the grid massively here. I think George is using that slipstream to just tuck in behind Callum and pull him along. But this is, strong showing from George, especially after struggling in the rain. He's now seems to be perfected with his issues.
But there's always the chance of a slip out for any of the drivers. Callum could slip out, George could slip out, any of them could slip out. So they're going to have to take it so careful here. But George is incredibly catching up to Callum here, showing Callum that he has to take note at what's behind him. And he has not escaped losing that P1 yet.
Yeah, no, I think anyone's still really in contention for this. Conditions might change towards the end of the race, so it's up for anyone for grabs. But if I was Callum, I'd want to be building that gap as much as I can, trying to lose George as quick as possible, because currently right now he's going to be pulling George away from everyone else, and George is very quick on that dry conditions.
Very, very true. But now, very quickly, Bradley is applying pressure to Harry, potentially looking to get the overtake on Harry for that P4 position. Can he get it done? Who knows? Peter back into the points now in P10. Will he be able to hold it? He has George Russell, but it's looking like he's pulling away. Jamie with a 21-second gap now. He has to build.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And depending on how long the wet conditions stay out, everyone else might need to box and where he can take advantage. But yeah, if it turns to dry, I think he's going to be affected most, because he will also have to box onto his dry tyres as well.
Very true, very true. But he might put a reverse Lando. Of course, we know back in Sochi in 21, was it, when it was fully wet, he stayed on dries and he slipped out because of it. Jamie might pull a reverse and stay on the wets when it goes dry and see if he can catch up.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's going to happen. George has slipped out a little bit there. Lost loads of time.
This is looking very strong for Callum. If he can keep this could be massive.
This could be massive, because Charlie's right behind George now. If he can get close enough to George, if they start fighting, Callum's just going to build that lead as much as possible.
Very true. And of course, Callum is closer to Charlie than he is George right now. If Charlie can overtake George and send George down a bit more, not only does it mean Charlie catches up, but so does Callum in the championship.
Exactly that. This would be a strong showing. And I think it's been a while since we've seen a Callum win. We didn't get to see one last season. And I think it goes back to season 2, the last time we saw a win from Callum. So it would be strong showing from him today.
Of course, we all know that race for China Grand Prix. We didn't even get a proper video of it. It's more like highlights. But we won't talk about that race because it did not go down well. But he did get the win nonetheless, and I will credit him for that. But now Peter working his way again back up to P9, looking for the overtake on Charles Leclerc. Gets it on the outside of the Ferrari up to P8. He's working his way back up, and Charles has retired here.
Yeah, it seems she's just pulled over, so I don't think he's got damage, so I don't think it'll be a safety car.
And Bradley has just pulled ahead of Harry here. Harry's fighting back on the inside, gets it back, but Bradley is battling away for that P4. It's looking seriously close here in that battle. Who knows who will come out on top? What's your prediction here, Preston?
I don't think I can predict anyway. You could go either way. Just looking at the rest of the grid as well, I think Charlie's lost a bit of time to George now, and George is gaining with Callum, so it's go anywhere for any drive so far.
I think it will all change as soon as it goes dry. You can tell it's going dry now, can't you? The rain is no longer falling, and the track is slowly but surely getting drier and drier. Those dries will completely change the way this race goes.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it could be a gamble of who boxes first as well. If you box early and manage to time it perfectly, you could gain a massive advantage, but if it goes wrong, you will lose so much time.
Very true. The George and Callum both have to think wisely, get the right strategy done, and think whether should I be the first to box or should I not. It's that decision, it's that gamble, it's that 50-50 chance that it's a call they have to make. Who knows who will pit? We'll have to see what happens, but George is very slowly closing that gap now. But Bradley has fallen down quite a bit, hasn't he? He was attacking Harry, and unfortunately he's lost a bit of time here.
Yeah, I'm sure he can get it back, but yeah, it's unfortunate for him so far.
Very, very true. Kostas looking nicely and peaceful in P6. Again, I didn't really see it, but Peter is potentially pressuring him now for that place. That would be a cool battle. Peter versus Kostas. Who knows how that will turn out, but it'll be an interesting watch. But Jamie is slowly closing the gap now, isn't he?
Yeah, and I think the time is still a bit too much for him, but if there's a safety car, it's all to play for again for him.
Very true, who knows, but Peter now looking for the overtake on Kostas, goes on the outside of the Haas and makes it through to P6. Can Kostas give in an answer? Is potentially looking on the inside, but Kostas cannot make it through. Not close enough, and Peter secures that position.
Speaking of getting close, George is now within the overtaking distance of Callum.
What a battle this could be between the two of them. We know they're both strong contenders. We know they're both good fighters. This could be a very interesting battle to watch. And whilst they're battling away, it's also a chance for Charlie to come into it as well. The top 3 championship contenders.
Yeah, 100%. Callum's going to want to try and build that gap because he doesn't want to be dragged down with the fighting. But Charlie's going to be sitting nicely just behind watching to see what happens.
Very true. He'll be waiting to see what the outcome is, seeing if he can potentially get close to see if there's any damage involved. Because if there's damage, that's when he can truly take advantage. Not that we want damage, but George has slipped out here again.
It's a big shunt into the wall.
And Charlie may be looking to take advantage. Callum definitely has pulled away, but Charlie is applying pressure now to George, looking potentially get the overtake on the outside of George, potentially going around this corner. Will he stay in that P2 position? No, George is on the inside, but Charlie potentially may get it. Almost hit each other there.
Bouncing off each other. This is not good news for George. Oh. Will touching again.
Who will make it through here? It's looking like George has had to back out and Charlie has prevailed into that P2 position here.
Yeah, there was smart racing from George to yield there. It's very hard to go side by side around those corners.
Very true, but as we were talking, once again, Bradley and Harry are battling away. Bradley managed to pull in front. I didn't see the overtake, obviously I was distracted, but Bradley managed to pull in front, but Harry came back and got it back. But George, a 3-second time penalty.
Again, getting too many warnings from corner cutting now.
It's lucky we're not on strict corner cutting, ain't it?
Yeah, that would have been penalised a lot earlier.
But Harry and Bradley again going wheel to wheel. Bradley did get in front, but Harry managed to get that great start out of that corner and get away from Bradley once again. Bradley cannot hold that P4 position. He'll keep attacking, but whether he'll be able to hold that position, who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But Peter again in P6, Kostas in P7. Jamie slowly but surely closing that gap.
Yeah, and I don't think it'll be long before it's dry conditions. You can start to see a bit of a dry line on track. So I think within the next couple of laps, you might start to see driver's box for the slick tyres.
And that would definitely be good for sure to see the guys go on drives, because as we said before, it will change everything about this race. I mean, look at Callum right now. He is, just going off topic, he is getting that gap between him and Charlie right now, whilst Charlie is potentially under pressure from George.
Yeah, he's taken full advantage of it. Same thing they were saying about in the sprint that Charlie took advantage of. With everyone else fighting, Callum's now doing the roles reversed and taking advantage of George applying pressure to Charlie.
Very, very true. And as I have mentioned before, George did say to me a few days before this race that he doesn't really like Canada. He can drive it, but he doesn't really like it that much. So is it showing here right now?
I think it's just the worst case scenario for him. A wet race around Canada is, especially if you're not confident around the track. I think, yeah, that's worst case scenario for him.
110% for sure. But all the guys are now trying to press for whatever positions they can here. No one's still going into the pits. It's still not dry enough on track. But as you say, it is drying up. So we will probably expect to see the dries very, very soon.
Yeah, once you start to see that dry line be a bit bolder, everyone else will start to then box, because the track will naturally dry up through over time.
Very true, but Peter keeps setting fastest lap after fastest lap. He is looking so strong here, and he is closing in on Bradley.
Yeah, he's been putting away some good laps so far. Obviously, we saw in the sprint he does have a couple of spins in him in wet conditions, but if he can put them aside, we could see him start to build some places up again.
And that would definitely be a strong show from Alpine to get both their drivers back up. Unfortunately, after the sprint race, didn't look very strong for them. They're getting back up there.
Yeah, but an interesting one to keep an eye on would be that George has got that 3-second penalty. I know that Harry is quite a distance away, but once dry conditions come into play, there might be a couple more battles, and we could. Who's that? It's Williams out.
Yes, that is.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, once the dry conditions come in, battles might start taking place, and who knows, that gap might close down, and George might be in trouble with his 3-second pen.
Very, very true. George will be hoping to stay 3 seconds above Harry, potentially. Make sure that he's above that 3-second gap.
Yeah, and I think George is... Peter, is closing that gap to Bradley.
How is Peter looking so strong? I mean, he said he loves Canada, but he's just looking so fast, so strong in that Alpine. It's like when one Alpine isn't very strong, the other is.
Yeah, he's putting away some good laps, and yeah, I think this is just him getting more confident with the car. After the sprint race, he wasn't too confident, and I think once you set away a couple of fastest laps, you start to feel a bit more confident with the car, and yeah, he can put away that time.
Very, very true. Who knows whether we'll see Peter rise up or not. He's definitely applying that pressure to Bradley right now.
They're boxing for the slick tyres.
All three of the top guys coming in. Will Harry come in as well? He is. The Red Bulls are double stacking here. Who will come out first? Charlie has managed to pull away, but Callum manages to get out in front just. But Peter goes straight ahead.
Yeah, that's a very cool from Peter there to stay out.
Make sure to hold that P1 position for Alpine, so potentially George can rise back up. But the dries now could change everything. I see that Charlie and Callum are both on the mediums. What are the other guys on? George is on the hards.
He's on hards, yeah.
Bradley's gone on the softs, I see. But now, this is brilliant racing between Charlie and Callum. Both battling away. Both wanting this P2 position due to Peter holding that P1.
Yeah, Peter's still got a box though.
Oh! Callum spun!
Was that a spin or was that an incident?
I'm not sure, to be honest. There's nothing happened to Charlie for it. It's just a multiple warnings. I think it was a reaction time from Charlie to avoid Callum.
Yeah, it just seemed a bit peculiar the way he spun. It might just be me from the angle I saw it as. Yeah, that's not good news at all.
Callum, who had been leading this race the whole time on wets, potentially would have if he was currently in P2. He would have been if he was in P2 right now, but has a gap to close now on Charlie. Can he close that gap enough? I believe so.
Yeah, he's looked strong all the whole time we've been around here. In the sprint and in the race, so I wouldn't put it past him to close the gap. But yeah, he only needs to close it by and leave 3 seconds.
But I will say it was a very good call by Peter to stay out at first and box later, because he's now in P3. Of course, under pressure from Bradley and Harry, who are currently batting away for P4. But Peter does set it in P3. Who will come out on top here? It's looking like Bradley might. No, Harry is going to hold it. Harry is going to stay in that P4 position.
Yeah, that's really interesting, to be fair. I think Bradley went a little bit wide and sort of got squeezed against the wall. But Harry got better traction out the corner. And yeah, now he's on the tail of Peter.
Very, very true. Whether Harry will be able to make it past Peter or not, who knows? We have seen these two battling away a lot, including the fact that, of course, Peter caused Harry to DNF in race 1, of course, in Bahrain. But now Harry is looking on the outside to get the overtake down on Peter. He cannot push enough here, but Harry is going to keep up that pressure and try and get that P3 position off of Peter, because that would be a strong standing. What the hell just happened to Peter?
I haven't seen it. What happened?
I don't know, because I had a very bad angle from Harry's point of view, but it looked like he hit the wall. He went wide on the corner and smacked against the wall and got shot back, and Harry took advantage and pulled forward.
Yeah, we have seen that quite a bit with a couple of drivers. They do get a bit too close to the wall and end up hitting the wall and losing loads of time.
It's looking like another three-way battle here.
He's diving down the inside and he's hit.
Oh!
Wheel and spun.
That is not good at all. Bradley, a very unlucky time for sure. We'll hope to get back up, but now we'll have the Alpine of George in his rear view mirror. But now fastest laps are getting set. Callum showing that he's still within contention for the win of this race. Can he pull up enough, do you think? A yellow sector here. And that's Peter gone.
Out. What's happened there?
I didn't see it.
Me either. I can't really see his car. I don't know if he's got damage or not.
Well, I'm sure the guys will have to go past it eventually, but
yeah. I don't know what's happened.
Wow. Okay, a very unlucky time for Peter for sure. A very unlucky time for the Alpines, of course, only having George in this race now at P5. But we'll have to see what the drivers say, see if there's any point of view, see if it was an incident or just an unlucky time for Peter. Who knows here? But the guys are quite separated. Right now, there's no actual real battles going on. I mean, Costas is still catching up to the AI of Pierre Gasly here. Whether he can get past the AI or not, who knows? The fastest lap is set by Charlie with a 1:14.041 here.
Yeah, Charlie and Callum should be swapping fastest laps each lap. Both of them pushing their hearts up to try and gain as much as they can.
Very, very true. Charlie has to push all he can to try and separate him and Callum. But Callum is trying his best to stay between the 5 seconds of him and Charlie, I don't know what's going on with me today. I'm literally stuttering loads. It's so annoying. It's genuinely like I'm having a commentator's curse today. But Costas now makes it past the AI of Pierre Gasly, as Daniel Ricci likes to call him, Daniel Ricciardo. But nice overtake by Costas to get that P9 position.
What's the penalty that Charlie has?
Charlie, I will tell you
3
now.
second.
Uh,
So it'd be interesting. So it's 2.4 the gap at the moment then.
if Callum can close that gap to within 3 seconds, it's going to be very, very interesting match for sure. But who knows whether he can do that.
He's set a fast first sector.
I mean, he is still looking very, very strong on lap 18. I mean, how many laps do we have left? Like, that must be well, gotta get my maths here correct. 18 laps dead on.
Yep, we're halfway through.
Oh, fair enough. We're halfway through. Callum still has a chance to catch up. Who knows whether he will or not. We'll have to see what happens. But Costas now potentially going after Carlos Sainz under pressure by George Russell. George Russell is pulling in front, but Costas manages to stay in front with a bit of a corner cut. But no matter, he stays in that P8 position, hunting down the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz here. Jamie still very much at the back here. Is there any chance he can close that gap or not?
Not looking likely. He's pretty much had that same gap the whole race so far. So he's just going to be holding on for a safety car here, which wouldn't be too bad for both McLarens.
It really wouldn't. It really wouldn't. I mean, Callum could definitely get a brilliant start potentially. I mean, that gap is being lost now between him and Charlie. But if there is a safety car, he could take full advantage of it.
Yeah, and with Harry behind him, who's got that 5 second penalty as well, he would have the buffer behind him as well.
Yes, he would. I mean, whether Charlie would be able to survive that or not, you know, who knows whether he'd be able to stay in front, who knows. But Costas pulls in front of the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. He's working his way up the grid very, very slowly, but gets up to P7 here. More and more points as it goes, but a yellow flag is sector 2. That's... Oh my god, Charlie's gone out! Charlie has spun and has DNF. Callum pulls in front. It's a safety car here. What a turn of events.
It seems to be from the way that would crash. I didn't quite see it, but I think he must have hit one of the sausage curbs on that last corner and spun and hit the wall on the left.
He's now typing. Apparently, Charlie hit Callum, and his controller disconnected. So I don't know what happened there, but who knows? But very unlucky time. Peter's DNF'd as well.
Yeah. No, Peter already DNF'd one, yeah. Remember, or first corner.
Yeah, sorry, that sent me, it really did. But a very unlucky time for Charlie. Harry in P2, which we haven't seen since Season 3. Bradley in P3. Costas for the first time quite high up in P4. George down in P5. This is now a 6-man race. This is also a chance for Jamie to rise back up as well.
Well, if that's confirmation that Charlie did hit him, what happens with that then? Does that get investigated? Because I mean, Charlie has DNF, or is it a case of the same thing with Peter?
I mean,
in Bahrain,
it's just, well, we didn't see it, did we? I haven't seen any collisions, so it's down to whether the drivers present footage or not.
Charlie said he hit, and no doubt they probably have footage to the drivers. but Charlie did confirm in the group chat that he'd hit him, so I don't know.
Well,
maybe not, maybe so, but it'll be interesting to see after the race. But it doesn't really matter so far, because Callum now leads the race.
Yeah, and I'd say it's down to Callum, but can we just bring into focus again, even if Harry gets in front of Callum, as long as Callum stays within those 5 seconds, if he can stay P2, let's say Harry does get in front of him, as long as he stays within those 5 seconds, Callum takes that P1 position.
Interesting to note, though, Bradley did box.
Oh.
Bradley's on a fresher set of mediums. He's on 1 lap old mediums compared to Callum and Harry, who are on 8 lap old mediums.
That is going to be very interesting. Bradley could pull a masterclass here and get front.
So did George as well. George is also on fresh mediums.
Both of them could, as I say, pull a masterclass here. This could be very interesting now between Bradley and George, and you know whether they'll get up on the other guys or not. Who do you think will fully take advantage of this safety car, if you could name anyone?
If I think Callum probably is going to gain the most, because Bradley's going to be on those fresher tyres. He's probably going to be quicker to the green flag that we get off the safety car. So Harry's going to be defending from Bradley. So I think Callum might get a good start. I think George will get a good start on. You have to remind me of the name again. Costas, sorry. With those fresh mediums, and I think Jamie also could get a good start as well. Although he's on older hards, he will catch up, and we know the speed Jamie has. He qualified like P3 in qualifying, so we know he has the speed there.
We very much do. I mean, he, of course, in Silverstone, he took home those 10 points, of course, 5th place, but he's had, how many wins? I believe like 1 or 2 wins in DFL history. I know he won in Brazil. I can't remember if he's won again before. I'm so sorry, Jamie. It's very bad knowledge of mine. But we know he's a very strong driver nonetheless, and he has shown it time and time again. And can I just say, he's massively improved since season 1 and 2. So he has a very big chance he could get back up here.
Yeah, 100%. He has improved massively.
But who knows what's going to happen. The safety car will hopefully go in. I'd say not this lap, but next lap it should go in. But who knows? We will have to wait and see what happens here. Safety car.
Yep, it would have come in just at the beginning of Sector 3. So it's going to be interesting to see how Callum plays his start here. Whether he goes slowly. Or whether he just shoots off.
He's definitely warming up his tyres as everyone is. He's got a slight gap on Charlie. Oh no, not Charlie, oh my god. On Harry. Harry's going slower than Callum. And now Bradley is.
That's interesting. I think they're warming up the tyres and Callum may take full advantage here.
And it looks like he has, but Harry's applying massive pressure on Callum here. May go for the overtake. That gap has completely gone here. Going into the first corner. Callum does stay ahead. Round this corner here. Can Callum still stay ahead? Oh, a little bit of a rear gone there by Harry. A very unlucky time now. Callum has to take full advantage. He can't really, that gap doesn't really grow. But now it's a 0.3 second gap. Who knows who will take a full advantage of this, but George is looking to press on Costas, but potentially get the overtake. He cannot press to that either.
Yeah, Callum knows deep down that Harry's got that pen, so he's going to be trying his hardest just to at least stay within 5 seconds of the race leader. If Harry does overtake, but Callum's going to try his hardest just to gap it, because he knows Bradley's closing in on Harry here, which could create the gap he needs.
Very true. A purple sector 2 I did notice by Callum, so he definitely has the pace here to stay ahead. Of course, no DRS activated yet, so he is not under threat there yet, but he still has that slipstream to worry about that Harry does have. All Callum has to worry about really, well, hope for, is that Bradley can catch up to Harry and potentially attack Harry, but is Bradley waiting?
Oh, Harry spun!
Oh! Both Red Bulls have spun on the exact same place, I would say. Now Harry, oh my god! Harry has...
Another safety car.
A 5-second penalty to Bottas due to a severe collision. Jamie has once again been saved. A drive-through penalty for Jamie now for speeding under the safety car. So although he's pitting here, that drive-through penalty will not be served. A 5-second penalty to Gasly for ignoring the yellow flag as well. Penalties all over. Is this a good chance for Callum, or is he now under threat from Bradley having the fresher tyres?
Yeah, this eliminates a chance for Callum to box fresher tyres as well. So he's going to be under threat massively. He just needs to gap as much as he can and just go, really. George isn't too much of a worry because George does have that 3-second penalty. So again, he just needs to stay within 3 seconds of George if he does overtake. But Bradley's the one to watch out for here.
Very true. Can we just discuss how both Red Bulls have slipped out at that exact same point? Obviously, Charlie DNFing, Harry not. But we both thought the Red Bulls would look very strong. But so far, it's the McLaren and Mercedes. Obviously, there's an Alpine and a Haas there as well. But all, the Red Bulls are just been very unlucky this race.
Yeah, I think it's the rear left that catches that sausage curve, like I said before, and it just causes them to obviously spin and hit the wall on the left, which is just very unfortunate for both Red Bulls. And yeah, as you said, both McLaren and Mercedes putting in a strong showing here today.
I mean, we know that both the Mercedes has had very unlucky times now in recent races in season 4, but Bradley putting on a very good showing, and so is George Russell, of course, one of the Mercedes reserves. He's currently in P6.
Yeah, that would do well for Mercedes constructors, but obviously doesn't contribute towards car.
It doesn't, but as you say, it bolsters up Mercedes' chances in constructors, and that's what they'll be happy. But who knows whether Carl will turn up next race. We do hope so, to see him in Monza. A drive-through penalty to Schumacher as well. A very unlucky time for Haas, I would say. Is that really a penalty for falling too far back?
Yeah, on safety car, you've got to stay within 10 cars width. Clearly, he dropped back too far.
An unlucky time for Schumacher for sure. Harry trying to catch up to a safety car queue, but who knows whether he will. But I want to see this start, because you have Callum on most, I would say, 9-lap-old mediums now, probably bigger than Matt. Bradley on the new mediums.
5-lap-old mediums. Bradley's on 5-lap mediums.
And so is George, I'm guessing, as well.
Yes.
So both of them can apply so much pressure here to Callum. But the key thing will be, if George and Bradley start fighting, that will be the point where Callum can break away.
He's just going to hope that they fight. And even if so, if someone gets the overtake on him, I doubt they'll build enough gap to break the DRS unless Callum spins. So he would have DRS to fight back at them again. So yes, he may have the older tyres, but depending on how well he's nursed them as well, he could fight back just as well as they're fighting him.
Very true, but I will also say one thing. Charlie DNFing really puts the championship into question. I mean, obviously George in P3, but if Callum wins this race, the fact that Charlie's DNF'd means that Callum catches up just that bit more, and I believe potentially maybe overtakes Charlie.
He would overtake Charlie if he wins today.
And we have not seen him being second in the championship since season 1, when you and him were fighting for the title. But that doesn't matter anymore, because the safety car goes in. The start is going to be manic. Bradley is sticking right beside Callum here. It looks like Callum's already speeding up. Bradley, however, is not letting Callum get away here, but neither is George. George could apply pressure to Bradley. This could be a massive three-way battle, but Callum is breaking away here, and what a start from Callum.
Oh, and he's hit.
Oh.
Bradley hit into the back of Callum there.
A very unlucky time for Bradley for sure, but who knows what happened. But Callum gets a start, that's for sure. And George goes to the overtake and gets it past Bradley. But no, he doesn't. Oh, major. Oh my God.
They're both
Oh! George has made it out alive, but Bradley, oh my god.
It seems as though Bradley ran off George.
And look at this at the back. It's a standstill.
Yeah, someone's going to end up getting disqualified for how slow they're going.
And Jamie is taking advantage of this and has shot straight up to P11, but he's
no. Yellow flag would have disallowed those overtakes.
Damn, he still holds P11, so that's pretty good. But can we talk about it? Callum now with P1, Costas in P2. Oh my god.
Callum seems to be the one that always escapes Canada.
Why? I was going to say earlier, I kid you not, when we were having Mercedes car, I was going to say, maybe he can finally escape that lucky win shadow he's always had because I've put it on him. But this is a lucky win again if he gets it.
No, I wouldn't say it's lucky, although it's a bit fortunate with his competitors going out, but he showed strong pace, even when the rain, fighting off George. And yeah, I think he's showed strong pace today.
That's very true. I was joking, Callum. You have had an amazing race for sure, and so is Costas, new to the league, only his second race, and currently in P2. Obviously, stuff has gone his way today, but he's still in P2. George currently in P3, and Harry's still there in P4, but he's now applying pressure to George.
Yeah, they're going to be fighting off. Costas might be able to get a podium here, but this is perfect for Callum as well. This has just been perfect. Everything he wanted in this race has happened, and yeah, you couldn't have asked for much more.
He really couldn't have, and I believe... No, actually... No, what I was going to say, don't worry about it, but Harry, if you haven't noticed, has got the overtake on George here. But George is fighting back. And it looks like Sebastian Vettel will take it. 3 seconds time penalty due to Costas. A very unlucky time, but Seb tried to get through. He couldn't. George takes that P3. Harry stays in P4.
He clipped the wall of champions there as he was going through. He just ran a little wide there.
Lucky to survive, to be honest, I would say. No, look, on the left side of his wing, if you kind of can see it, he's got damage.
I can't quite get an angle on it at the moment. Yeah, I've seen. Yeah, he's missing an end plate.
That will be massive for Harry, who is now pulling on his inside and takes that P3 position. This shoots George down even more now.
Yeah, but he's just using that slipstream to bring him along. And he's not without fight. He's still within fighting distance, so I wouldn't rule him out of this overtake just yet.
But you've also got to remember, Costas 3 second time penalty, and Harry's within 3 seconds. George also a penalty. This, no matter what happens here, Harry, I believe, will take that P2 position.
Is that Jamie out? He spun.
No, he's still in. He's just gone down to P15. A very unlucky race for sure for Jamie. Hopefully he does go. Oh, another spin again.
Yeah, that'll be his rears lighting up on fire here. He should take it nice and easy, just cool those rears down. Otherwise he will spin again.
It's a very unlucky for one McLaren being up top and then the other being basically bottom. I mean, obviously, you know, it's not bottom, but you get what I mean. It's the others have
a McLaren sandwich between the grid.
Pretty much, yeah. But Bradley in P7 now. But as I was saying before, Harry, no matter if George overtakes Harry, he still holds that P2 position because he's still within 3 seconds of Costas, and he will be within 3 seconds of George. But it will. Harry has spun due to a wall collision, and he's down to P6 here, which means for now, I believe Costas. No, George. Wait, both of them have 3 second time penalty, so Seb will go P2. Won't he?
As things stand, yes. The Costas, I think, will drop to P5, I think, at the moment.
which means that Harry does unfortunately stay P6 unless George can bolster him up, but I don't think he will. Harry will stay P6, a very unlucky time for him, but whether he'll be able to climb back up, who knows. We may have to investigate that incident. I did get a slight view of it, but probably not a good enough view, to be honest. A driver's POV will be much better, but Harry in P6, Bradley in P7, potentially a battle we can see if Bradley can close that, but the last 4 laps of the race, if Callum can hold this has to be the greatest win of his career. Yes, we know Bahrain Season 1, but with the competition there is today in this league, it's got to be his greatest win.
Yeah, 100%. This has just been outright strong from him. I just ran out of compliments for how well he's driven today. Just excellent overall.
And may I just say, I mean, well, actually, no, George is getting 15 points, ain't he? But Callum, of course, will overtake Charlie and close in on George. He won't be far behind George, will he? But now George is potentially looking for the overtake on Costas, trying to go on the inside, can't stretch for it. Potentially now looking on the outside and nicely, cleanly gets past Costas here up to P2. Oh, but Costas potentially fighting back, but George may have just kept it.
I think the pace just is on George's side there.
And now
I think Costas should just focus on building that gap to try and stay within the podium places.
Yes, and I mean, the thing is, if George can now build a 3-second gap between him and Costas, he will stay on that P2 position.
Yeah, he will.
Oh, what's happened? Is that another... Oh, Jamie! No, Callum!
Callum spun.
That throws everything out the window.
Not just yet. If Callum can build the gap back up past Sebastian Vettel, he might be in a chance to still win this race.
If he did so well this race, if this is how it ends, you have to feel bad for the guy. Yes, he gets overtaken by Nicholas Latifi and Harry now. Both of them get past Callum.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Callum. He's had such a good race. I don't know if that was a mistake or what, but yeah, that's so unfortunate for him today.
It really is. But will he still overtake Charlie? It's going to be close. For sure.
No, he needs to win today in order to overtake him.
Callum has gone straight onto the grass to get the overtake on Nicholas Latifi. I don't know if that's even a legal overtake, to be honest.
Yeah. It was slightly outside the rulebook.
Do we do something about that?
No, I think that everyone's been doing that all race. That's why they've all got warnings and all sorts.
Yeah. But you have to feel for the guy. He's had such an amazing race. To lose like this.
Yeah, and as much as he might not see it, he can take some positives from this race to say that, well, regardless of him not winning, he showed the pace that he could have won this race. Which he can easily take that into any race this season. Say that, well, he has the pace now. He can win a race.
But I will quote one thing. Oh, a sector one. That is Jamie, who has spun again. A very unlucky time. But I will quote something. We go back to one of the YouTube shorts, a TikTok, where Peter jinxed Charlie all the way back in Belgium in Season 3. And I think we've done the same thing. We've said how great this win could have been for Callum. And he's spun.
Yeah, that's true. The commentator's curse.
Yeah.
So, sorry about that, Callum, but had to be done.
Yeah, we apologise deeply about that, Callum. But both Costas and George have that 3-second time penalty. Where will they end up right now?
I'll work it out. So, George will end up P1 still. Yeah, P1 still. And Costas will end up P4. Yeah, P4.
Which means Harry takes a podium.
Yes. Harry would be P3. if we can get past Sebastian Vettel, we'll be P2.
Who spun again? That is Jamie, who has spun again. A very unlucky time for both McLarens here. You have to feel for them.
Yeah, you do. It was Jamie's been on the rear end of most of the spins today, but I think Callum's probably was more costly.
I'm gonna message Callum after this and just say, mate, very unlucky time. You raced brilliantly, because it's the truth. We can say over and over again, but he has raced brilliantly today, and it's just very unlucky. But onto a different topic. George does take P1 here today, no matter.
Harry spun.
Oh, which means Callum goes P4. He's not within 3 seconds.
No, he's still too far away.
Which means Costas will keep that P3 position and keep his first podium within the DFL. But, Preston, I hand it over to you now.
Yeah, after all the difficulties he's had so far, George is now about to cross the line, weaving across in celebration after an amazing race, and that is George, your race winner here today in Canada.
And what a brilliant race it was. Due to a 3-second time penalty, Costas goes to P3. But again, keeps his first ever podium within the DFL. A brilliant race by him today to survive. A very unlucky time for Callum for sure. But he still gets those 12 points. So he still tries his best to catch up to Charlie. Won't overtake him today, but that carries on. The championship is heating up even within 4 races of it. And we're about to go to your podium, people. Do not miss it. And here we are for your podium. And for the 3rd time this season, George walks out to claim that P1 spot. Of course, was very unlucky in France not to claim it. But he does take that P1 spot. Of course, Costas on his right, Seb on his left. Due to a 3-second time penalty, Costas does not get that P2 position, but well done to George today to take home that P1, continues his championship reigns and extends it even further. Who knows how it's going to go, people, but we'll be right back with you with the leaderboard in a second. George takes out P1, Seb in P2, Costas in P3, Callum in P4, Harry in P6, Bradley in P7, finally getting more points, Jamie in P15, and then due to DNS, Charlie in P16, Peter in P18, and unfortunately Owen in P20. Thank you for joining us here today, and we'll be back with you next Sunday for Monza. Do not miss it, people. See you later. Goodbye.